Welcome to Ask Fear and Greed, where we take your questions and do our very best to answer them. I'm Michael Thompson, and good afternoon, Adam Lang.
Oh, good afternoon, Michael.
Adam, Ask Fear and Greed is always exciting because we never quite know what we're going to get, and the questions can come in through any avenue. Might be through social media on LinkedIn or Facebook or Instagram or via the website fearandgreed.com.au. Today's question has come in via LinkedIn, and it has come from Benjamin. And Adam, it is really a question for you, and I'm going to ask it to you.
Okay, I'm standing by.
Benjamin says, "Hi, gents." That's you and me. A question for Ask Fear and Greed, please. Yes, we shall do this.
No worries, Benjamin.
Anytime, Benjamin. In your newsletter last week, good start, Benjamin, you said the right to disconnect will change the way we work because workplaces will be forced to have better communication around what's expected. I manage a team within a larger organization and want to get ahead of this. How best to do it? Is it an all-in meeting so that everybody knows the ground rules for the workplace, or is it one-on-one?
Oh, great question. Oh, look, well done, Benjamin. So first I should say I haven't done a course in the right to disconnect, so may not be professionally qualified to advise. So this is really my opinion, and I'll have to leave it up to you to determine how this suits your team. So I'd imagine that within your company,
I thought you were talking to me. That you'll leave it up to me to decide how well it suits Benjamin. I'm like, well, I'm happy to make these decisions on Benjamin's behalf.
Well, let's do that next. We'll see what Michael's answer is.
Oh, yeah. Mine's going to sound very similar to yours, I suspect, just
Okay.
probably with a little bit more pep.
So I think the new right to disconnect law is a game changer. And I know Sean put that in the newsletter. I agree with it. The reason for that is it does push workplaces to better define what is reasonable after hours contact. So I think that we would all appreciate the right to disconnect from devices and work and balance a life. And obviously your question is about, as a manager, taking the initiative and whether you should. I think that's smart. And just as a suggested approach, I'm wondering if instead of one or the other, one-on-one or group meetings, just like the young lady in the old El Paso ad when she gets asked to choose either the hard or soft tacos, why not do both? Have the team meeting and then the one-on-one discussions.
We have never had an old El Paso.
I'm taking wisdom from old El Paso. Yeah.
We've never had that come out in Ask Fear. We've never had it come out in Fear and Greed in general, let alone Ask Fear and Greed. But you know what?
Why not do both? So, and obviously, Benjamin, this has to be done within the approved constraints of your company, but talk to your HR, human relations, or people and culture team. I would suggest start with a team meeting with your team. You've obviously said you manage a large team. Start with a group meeting with them to openly discuss this change and its implications. Obviously, the company needs to generate great customer service, and it does have to be productive, and it does want to achieve work-life balance. So what are those expectations? Have a conversation about that with your team, about what those expectations for after-hours communication are. And then one-on-one, I think it's a really healthy conversation to have follow-ups, have those individual meetings to address everyone's specific circumstances, because they may not want to talk about them in a big forum. They may have just individual needs that they're happy to bring up with you, but not more broadly, or just want to try and set some parameters without disclosing what their reasons are. And they could impact their after-hours availability. So I think those two things are a good way to proceed, a team meeting and then the one-on-one.
Now, Adam, I suspect I should probably actually explain kind of why this is a question that you are so well suited to answer. And you started with a disclaimer as to why you wouldn't be able to do a professional kind of standard job of it, but you're doing an outstanding job as far as I'm concerned. You, of course, have led large teams. You have been the CEO of an ASX listed company. You are a kind of a CEO coach, an executive kind of coach. So you are talking with a lot of kind of business leaders as well. Is there an element of it that can be kind of less structured? Because you talked about, say, the team meeting. You've talked about the one-on-one kind of meetings to kind of go into the specifics. And if anyone has questions that they don't want to ask in front of everyone, that's the kind of the perfect place to do that. But is there kind of a less structured way to do this as well? Kind of, is it, you mentioned just then leading by example and respecting kind of boundaries. Is it just more, I suppose I'm asking a question almost about culture. Is it something that you can just kind of instill within your entire team just by setting the right culture from day one?
Oh, of course it is, Michael. It's a great point. And I think within every business, you're setting expectations every day. Some of them you are showing by just the way you show up to work and the way you communicate, talk to people. So very much it's around how you lead, understanding what the tasks are ahead. So, for example, some of the businesses that I work with are 24 hours. You know, they have people working 24-hour shifts. And so people are working all the time and they don't get to see people all the time. Some of them have night events. Some of them are hospitality venues. So the number of hours and different tasks is just so vast. It's really hard to give a generic answer. And so I think the best way you can do it, to your point, is role modeling and talking to people, being present on the floor and knowing what's going on, making sure people are okay.
And the funny thing is that people will generally not complain about over communication. They will tend to complain when they don't hear anything, or when you don't when there's no feedback, no communication at all. It's probably better to have kind of too many of these conversations and people to feel like they've almost got too many opportunities to raise concerns or ask questions than they do the other way.
Yeah, I think that's true, Michael. One of the greatest things leaders can do is be present and pay attention. You know, observe what people are doing and going through. And if you get a sense that someone wants to have a chat, follow it up.
You've made that sound all very straightforward, Adam. And look, I'm gonna take a punt here and say that I suspect Benjamin would be satisfied with that answer.
Please let us know, Benjamin. I like feedback.
Ooh, excellent. Thank you very much, Benjamin, for the question. And thank you, Adam, for answering it so comprehensively.
Thank you, Michael.
Remember, if you've got something that you would like to know, then please send your question through on LinkedIn, like Benjamin did, or Instagram or Facebook, or jump onto our website, fearandgreed.com.au. Send it on through and we'll pop it on the list. I'm Michael Thompson, and this is Ask Fear and Greed.